Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Tesla weekly video for you, the first one of 2024. If you're new here, Tesla weekly videos are basically made so you get a full recap in one video of everything that has happened or all the major points that have happened with regards to Tesla during 1 week. This video we're going to talk about numbers out of China, multiple numbers out of European countries, the UK as well, then some changes with regards to the range for Tesla, and I'll start with the clickbait headlines that have been released constantly throughout the last couple of days. And at the end, we're going to have a look at the graph. So Sawyer Merritt posted on X a couple of examples of, well, the, let's say, media being on a roll recently. Tesla slashes electric car range amid claims it exaggerated mileage. Of course, this is not really true. It has to do with the EPA and the way they measure the range, but more on that later on. Number 2 here, just as Tesla loses the EV crown, Elon Musk's biggest market in Europe pulls the rug from under him. Again, this is partially true. Yes, BYD did outsell Tesla in Q4, but for the whole of 2023, Tesla is still leading the way. More on that later on as well. Tesla Cybertruck falls 20% short of its advertised range in real-world tests. A dual-motor Foundation Series unit with all-terrain tires was driven through the night until its battery died. Again, like with plenty of cars, it really depends in what type of environment you're driving your car. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it freezing cold? That will affect the battery life. Last one here, Tesla is no longer the top electric vehicle maker as China turns EVs into commodities. Has peak Tesla arrived? Again, Q4, yes, BYD did beat out Tesla. For the whole of 2023, Tesla is still beating BYD. But of course, if this continues, then in 2024, we should expect BYD to be the number one player. But remember, BYD has models that are much cheaper than the lowest model that Tesla is offering, the Model 3. And we know as well that Tesla is in the works of releasing their own cheap compact car. Whenever that will be released, 2025, 2026, remains to be seen. But when that gets released, I think it's fair to say that we will see Tesla back at number one, because then Tesla will have a compact car. Model 3, Model Y, S, X, Cybertruck, Tesla Semi, although that won't really contribute that much to volume, but it will have a wider range of vehicles available for the public. It's a big difference. Also, if you want to compare apple to apples, Tesla higher margins than BYD. But okay, let's roll with it. Now, before I continue, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, would really appreciate that. We're trying to reach 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's the goal. So help me by pushing that button. It's free. Also, thank you to the newest member of the channel, Simon. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get a top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Now, touching back on all these headlines, I had a small, let's say, conversation. I wouldn't really call it a conversation, but with Gary Black on X, retweeted my post. Basically, I said that he's basically lowering the standards for what journalism should be, right? Why should Tesla be spoon-feeding journalists if the journalist's job is to find the truth, right? He says Tesla needs a better PR, meaning they need to make more effort to get the truth out there. But I thought that's the job of a journalist, right? To dig in and find the truth. But of course, I understand that negative headlines drive more clicks. We all know that by now. But to say that it is Tesla's job to go and spoon-feed those journalists, I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense. He then puts up a weird example, which is responding to my own response. So you've got the cause and effect backwards. If your otherwise smart kid gets lousy grades at school because he doesn't go to class, do you blame the teachers? Tesla needs to put in the effort. It's not protecting lousy journalists. Like all things in life, Tesla needs to just show up if it wants good press. Tesla has the best product. So I'm confused here because I responded here, and this is my response, this is just my thoughts. The smart kid does get the good grades, yet he doesn't get the credit. That's the whole point. I get the point he's trying to make, but that's not the same scenario here at all. right? It's not like Tesla doesn't have a great product or, as Gary said, the best product, and so it gets bad press. No, Tesla has the best product and yet still gets bad press. So again, I know where Gary is coming from. Gary really thinks that nowadays the companies need to go and feed the press whatever they want to be printed out. To me, that just sounds wrong. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. Moving on, we've got here a note by Argus. So Tesla has been named a 2024 top pick by Argus Research. We see Tesla as the leader in the EV industry, with recent entrants to the EV market for General Motors, Toyota, and Volkswagen now struggling to right-size their future capex budgets. We believe Tesla has an opportunity to grow market share in 2024. Of course, whatever we're saying right now is only going to affect whatever it's going to affect in the short term. I'm not buying Tesla for 2024. I'm not buying Tesla for 2025. I'm buying Tesla to hold it for years and years, if not decades. Everything we're hearing right now, the noise, is short-term noise. Think about the future. Tesla right now is still in a very, very good position, growing in the world, new gigafactories, whether it's megapack factories, car making factories. I mean, we're still pretty early days, even though this is a $700+ billion market cap company. Now, whether or not you agree, disagree that it is cheap or expensive, that's subjective. But you cannot deny that the future looks extremely bright for Tesla. Usually, whenever we reach a local low in sentiment, that's, in my opinion, always the best time to be an investor. But that's just me. Moving on to China. So, for the last week of 2023, China reported 15,800 insured registrations. So the quarter is up 22.4%, and it's up 8% versus the best quarter, and 39.3%. It's up 39.3% year over year. And so Giga Shanghai achieved its second best month ever, with wholesales, which is exports and local sales, at 94,139, and the highest in the last 13 months. That's up 14% from last month. This also leads to the best quarter so far. Then moving on to Europe. So in Europe, France became almost the largest market for Tesla in 2023. This is according to the numbers provided by Piloli. Germany and the UK were down, while the smaller markets showed big growth. Total sales in Europe are up 57%. For France specifically, they reported in December 9,572 sales and 5.3% market share, and that's including all vehicles. Now, as for Germany, they reported 4,001 Tesla sales in December and 1.7% market share for them. Now, with Germany, we've seen the weakness there already in the past, and if we want to look even further into that, we have a post here by Aeon. So Germany 2023 versus 2019. Of course, overall, Tesla has done quite well, right? It's up 494.6%. But then if we look at Steven Spencer's post here, he asks, why do you think Tesla is so severely underperforming in Germany now versus other EU markets? Which, by the way, Giga Berlin is obviously in Germany. And yes, there has been an underperformance in that market. So the account answers here, Germans, especially German companies, which are a very significant part of the new car market, tend to buy nationalistic even if the products are objectively inferior. Another thing, the dumb regulation also allowed selling to other countries only half a year after retrieving incentives from the German government. This has been changed as well, reducing demand somewhat. So yes, exports have been pushed, which is why we're seeing other countries having great numbers, but the German ones not. But I've been saying this for a while. It's very, very different. European markets to the US market or in the Chinese market, especially in Germany, right? Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes, etc., etc. People are very loyal to those brands. And overall in Europe, there are many other companies out there, car makers, that offer cars that are much cheaper than the lowest priced Tesla in Europe. It's not as cheap as in the United States. The Model 3 is not as cheap in Europe as it is in the United States. In Europe, you have plenty of other car makers that are making smaller cars that are more affordable for the general public. And that's why, again, the Tesla compact car will be a big deal for Tesla, probably in the second half of this decade. Now, moving up to the UK, they reported 5,517 Tesla sales and 3.9% market share in December, with Model Y the best-selling car. Overall, in Europe, as we've seen before, Tesla grew by 57%, reaching 364,000 cars. Now, overall, again, I think the sentiment right now with Tesla to start 2024 is maybe a bit less positive. If you read everything you're reading, if you're seeing those numbers out of Germany, you're thinking, oh, there is a slowdown, BYD taking over, bad headlines, reduced range, etc., etc. Sentiment isn't there. And that's, to be honest, it's good. Because maybe we have to put the bar, the expectations, let's say, not the bar, the standard that Tesla is setting, but the expectations, let's put it a bit lower at the start of the year. Let's have a look at the upcoming quarter and especially guidance for 2024. Let's listen what management has to say. I much rather have my expectations lower right now and the company exceed that at the end of the year. I think we're all due for a small little reset here. Let's see where we'll go from there. Of course, macro might change a lot here. So let's wait and see. Now, to close it out, we obviously have to talk about these announcements right here. So Tesla has dropped Model S and X range in the United States by up to 37 miles, in part due to a change in EPA testing methods. Same here with the Model Y range in the US, dropped by 20 miles. Again, this is due to a change in EPA testing methods. Whether you like it or not, that's just what happens, and it's just not only for Tesla. This is going to happen is already happening for all the other EV car makers as well. But of course, when you put Tesla in your title, you know you're going to get way more clicks. And so to finish the first episode off, Tesla finished the week at $237.5. We did rebound a little bit from that 200-day moving average at $334. This is the third red week in a row. If we look at RSI, pinpoint neutral at 50. Of course, next week we will have CPI numbers that might and will probably dictate where the stock market goes, where companies or stocks like Tesla will go as well. But be sure to be on the lookout. If we go down and break under that 200-day moving average, then this range right here will be in play. So to conclude, first week of 2024, first Tesla weekly video of 2024, the message here to me is pretty clear. Have some patience. Let's wait and see what the company is going to tell us, what the company is going to show us. And more importantly, don't buy Tesla for the short term. If you're buying this type of company, it's to hold it for the long term, because Tesla right now is not going to be the same Tesla in 2030. Mark my words. So that will be it. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.